Good evening. Hi. I just need to do a sound check. So if you guys, I'm trying my mics again. I think I have the settings correct. But if you're having a hard time hearing me, please let me know in the chat. My name is T. Waldron. I'm here with my cat, Pumpkin. She's right up there. And we're going to do a longer live tonight because I want to talk about, oh, good morning, Kevin. Good morning. Good evening, Kevin. I'm not used to seeing you at night, so this is very cool. Thanks for being here. How's the sound? Is it okay? All right, let me know. If it's not okay, let me know. Otherwise, I'm just going to assume it's fine. It's the 6th of September. It's a Saturday night. 8 p.m. we have Imran Hossain doing our awesome moderating. Thank you, Imran. I appreciate it. So tonight I wanted to talk about, we're going to put the whole week together. Okay, great. Okay, good. I tried to redo the settings on the sound. Thank you. Tonight we're going to talk about some of the scientific aspects that go with our theme for the week. So our theme for the week has been how to be our best self, okay? And we talked about a lot of different areas of that. And I happen to want to put together some of the information with some science, because that always holds more weight for me when I can find a scientific background or scientific evidence to prove that points, okay? So what I did was I tried to find free Joe Dispenza information online, and there really wasn't too many that were free, but he has this awesome special on Gaia, which is, I think you can get 7 days for free, or you can do, I think it's like $13.99 a month or $9.99 if you do a year. But there's other stuff on there that's very good, like yoga, meditations, sound healing, all kinds of different stuff, which really resonates with me. So I ended up switching. I finally canceled Netflix today, and I ended up getting Gaia because it's more helpful. Hi, Luis. Welcome. Oh, thank you. Welcome to the chat. We're talking about how to be our best selves, and I just want to share with you 5 things that I watched the first episode on this Joe Dispenza special on Gaia, and it's called Rewired, and it's fantastic. Hi, Declan. Good evening or good afternoon, depending on where you are. So the series is called Rewired, and it's how we can rewire our brain to function better. I know I said tonight is going to be the magic of manifesting, and we are all manifesting our own reality. So that's kind of shocking. We manifest whatever is in our lives. Hi there. Hi, Riposte. Oh, I'm not sure what that says. But hello to you. Okay. So we are all manifesting our reality, whether we realize it or not. And I think by understanding how our brain manifests our 3D reality, that empowers us. And so part of what Dr. Joe tells us is if we can learn something and then teach it back to somebody, then that's good. Now, I am not replacing the information. I'm just telling you the information as I understand it, but I do recommend you watch the series. There's so much in it. I had to watch it 4 times to write these notes down. Okay. Well, I'm glad we manifested each other. That's very cool. So I'm going to tell you 5 things that I figured out from this special that I want to share with you. So the first thing, he asks you, what is being supernatural? What does that mean to you? And he says, does that mean you're a superhero? Does that mean you're all powerful? Well, he says we are supernatural in 3 different ways. Number 1, we can change our body by thought alone, or we can be greater than our body. Number 2, we can overcome challenging conditions in our external environment that we maybe thought we couldn't. So it's very empowering. And then number 3, we can change a predictable future destiny or events, and therefore we can be greater than time, which is, kind of overcoming time, overcoming our situations, and overcoming our own, our own physical body through our thoughts. So and it's all true. So I was really excited because this takes the stuff that I learned on that week-long retreat when I was in Florida last week, and it's putting it to practice. So yes. So he offers us medical proof in this series that our bodies can heal themselves. And that's a quote, I first heard that in reference to B.J. Palmer. He invented chiropractic. And his thing was unlocking your body's potential to heal itself, and that was through chiropractic. But this is, Dr. Joe's figuring out a way to do it another way. Oh, thank you. Thanks, Rice. Okay. So the second thing that he also talks about in this show is that we have one brain, but within our one brain, we have 3 brains, and they all have a different function. And that was very interesting because I never really thought about our brains like this. So one brain is for thinking, one brain is for doing, and the other brain is for being. And that is very interesting, right? Did you ever think of that? I never did. And so our neocortex, which is the biggest part of our brain, right? And that's the frontal lobe and all the, I think the occipital lobe. Actually, no, I don't think that's the occipital lobe. Hold on. Maybe it is. I'm not sure. That was a little fuzzy on my part. But the neocortex is our thinking brain, right? That's our creative center. It's the seat of our conscience, the seat of your conscience. It's how we learn things, okay? And it's our free will, it's our learning, it's our intention, invention, attention, speculation, decision-making, behavior control, concentration. It restrains our emotional reactions, like when we see something and we want to react and we kind of stop ourselves. It's basically our learning portion of the brain, and it makes new synaptic connections when we learn something. Now, this part of the brain, because I was on that meditation retreat last week, this part of the brain was taking over all the time. It was trying to run the show, because that's what it normally does. And when you're meditating, you don't want to be in that thinking, learning thing. You want to be in the being part. So that was pretty interesting. Oh, yeah, I don't know. Oh, so yeah, I think the neocortex does the visual. There is part that's the visual cortex with motor functions and long-term memories and distinguishing between self and non-self. But I wasn't clear which section that was. So I don't want to misspeak and tell you that's part of that. I think it's that part of that section, but I'm not sure. But this neocortex plugs us into the 3D to learn new things. So then there was a question, when you have damage to your neurons, right, in your brain. It's been thought for many years, since the early 1900s, when they did these tests on rats, that your brain cannot rebuild itself. Hi, Ellie. Oh yeah, hang on, I want to get to that. I'll finish this section, then I want to get to your comment. So can we build our neural connections in our brain? So for the longest time, we were told, no, we can't. Once your neurons or your neural connections are dead, that's it. But it turns out they were testing on rats that had no stimulation, and they had no reason to create new memories to rebuild. But now there's new proof that says, yes, we can rebuild those connections, and our neurons aren't, once they're dead, they're not completely gone. We can rebuild them. And there's a whole branch of science that focuses on that. So let me see what your comment was, Ellie. Not if we keep poisoning our body. Yeah. What would help is understand what makes us do stupid things. You know what? Two good points. Yeah, we have to watch out what we feed our body, because if we keep putting, eating fried food and sugar, and complex carbohydrates and actual, poisons from some of the pesticides and things that we have in our environment, that's not good. That's not helping us. And then what was the second part of your thing? Yeah, so that's a good point. What would help us understand what makes us do stupid things? This is it. He's getting to that. Like it's not in this one, but I know he talks about that eventually. So hey T-Rex, welcome back. So yeah, good questions. Thank you. And depends what you mean by stupid things. Like, are you talking about emotional reactions, or are you talking about poor choices? There's a whole lot of there's a lot of different stupid things I've done in the past. You gonna come down here, Pumpkin, and join us? Come on. I took the cover off the chair, so she's a little, she's not sure. This is Pumpkin, by the way. She's here for you guys. Hey, Toxic Gameplays, welcome. Not famous, but thank you. And Pumpkin came to see you guys. She's been supervising from the back of the chair. Okay, have a seat there, cutie. Yeah, so good questions. Thank you. I appreciate that, Ellie. And good comments. Okay, so then the second type of brain we have, so we have 3 different brains within our brain, right? The second one is for doing, and that is our limbic brain. And this one, it applies things, like it applies what we've learned from the other brain. And it has it demonstrates the knowledge that we know. And behaviors match our intentions. So, you know, our behaviors hopefully match what we learned. Actions equal thoughts, which equal new experiences. An experience wires neurons together to form feelings in this chemical portion of the brain. So this part of the brain releases chemicals. And I think you used the example of when you have something that makes you feel really good, then your body is trained like, oh, we want to redo that action. If you feel very happy or at peace, or you know, just a good vibe feeling, then that you want to recreate that. So then your body learns, okay, whatever that was, let's have that, some more of those chemicals because it feels good, right? Okay. What makes us make poor choices? I need to know that one. Yeah, that is the question, right? What does, like, what, it depends. What do you mean by a poor choice? I'm curious. Is it making a bad decision on who you're friends with, or your job, or what you're eating, or sometimes reacting to people? I've done all those. So could be any one of those or more. There's probably other ones, but I would love an example so that way we know what we're talking about. But anyway, the second part, this limbic part of the brain, it's like a little part in the middle, and it has our emotions. So the chemicals it creates create our emotions. Yeah, bad habits. Yeah, good one. Yeah, that's something I'm struggling with too sometimes, you know. Sometimes we can have bad habits. But actually, he's showing us, and I would say definitely watch the thing, because I'm not explaining it like he did, like that's his life, but I'm just telling you as I understand it. But he kind of gets into habits a little bit. Hey, Bummain TV, hello. Thanks for saying hi. Yeah, so we're talking about the limbic brain right now, and emotion changes our body neurochemically. And as we learn these things, like if it's something, let's say we want to change a habit, right? So we study, like, all right, so we know, okay, I'm going to use my trying not to eat chocolate all the time and having a better relationship with chocolate. I'll use that as an example. So my thinking brain, I know I should not eat the entire bar of chocolate the day that I buy it. I know if I have it here, I should eat a square or two and make it last for a week. But you know what? I love it, and I just eat the whole thing. So I just don't keep it in the house. But if I can learn a way to just have one bar, one piece, one square at a time, then that would make my limbic brain proud of me. I'd be like, oh, I did it. I controlled my urge to eat that entire bar. And then that would be a habit, and then I wouldn't even be thinking about it as much. It would change how I think about the chocolate. So I believe that's kind of how it works. Oh no, you don't have to shut up. Hi, Lois. Or Los Garcia. Welcome. Yeah, so it's a whole process. So our neocortex is like our thinking brain. We know things with that. And then the limbic brain is what releases the chemicals when we sort of synthesize our knowledge, and then the chemicals, maybe they're like it's a good situation or maybe it's a stressful situation. So we also learn from that. Good evening, Stephen. Great to see you. Yeah, great weekend so far. Thank you for asking. And welcome back. So anyway, that was two of the brains. And then the third brain is the cerebellum. And this one, once we have established that, okay, I'm feeling good about not eating the entire bar of chocolate. I'll have 1 or 2 squares a day, and that's my baseline. Then it becomes natural. It's implicit memories. We don't even think about it. It's who we are, okay? And this is how we can just move on from that and just work on something else. And oh, by the way, the limbic brain, that second one, is also our autonomic and automatic nervous system. And it's how, how we breathe, how our body releases insulin when we have sugar, all the different bodily functions that we need to survive. That is our limbic brain. And he explains all this, so definitely watch the show. It's Rewired on Gaia. But then again, the third brain is the cerebellum, so that's who we are. And he says that our mind becomes our body, becomes our soul. So does that make sense? Yeah. Like 7, I'm not sure. Oh, thank you. I'm glad you like the microphone. I just got it working. I had to use the software today and type it in and get the right level, so I'm glad it's functioning. A couple times we had it on, and I just had to tear it out and just go with the phone mic. Yeah, so then the other thing he says, okay, so we talked about the 3 kinds of brains, and then a related issue is we want our brain to work coherently with the parts of our brain, with the chemicals, and then with our heart. So he's saying that coherence is really how we tap into our potential, okay? So coherence is also known as rhythm or order or synchronization. And we worked on that a lot when we were at the retreat. We worked on heart coherence and brain coherence. And when our hearts were coherent, when we were he played really loud music and sort of just got us into the moments, we didn't think about any things we had to do or the past. We were just in the moment, and our brains and our hearts became coherent, and that increased the power of your brain. So it's really phenomenal, and it's free if you can do these practices. Okay? Yeah. Thank you, T-Rex. I hope that resonates there with you. Now, he also said when we're in stress, does anybody know what happens, what we want to do when we're in stress sometimes? It's like our bodily, like if we were, threatened, right? What are some of those mechanisms that we have when we're in stress? So there's fight, right? Yeah. Pumpkin, you have a fan. Someone is telling you meow, but it's in German. Very cool. So there's fight. What else? Flight, freeze, and then there's another one that he didn't talk about, but my friend Luis Mojica mentions, and that's fawn. Yeah, fight or flight, that's right. But there's also freeze. Sometimes you just freeze and you don't do anything. And then, like I said, my friend Luis Mojica also talks about fawn, when you are too nice to somebody to sort of diffuse a situation. Like if you have a bully that's about to beat you up and you just say, here, take my lunch. And that's kind of fawning. You don't really want to do it. It's behavior you do, you perform, but you're not there. It's not genuine. You're just doing it to save yourself. And that causes even more stress on your nervous system. So he talks about fight, flight, and freeze, and then I'm adding fawn. But when we're in stress, we're not coherent. That's a good question. That's pretty funny. Yeah, I usually have this chair covered, but it's Saturday night, so I took the cover off. We're living it up. Don't worry. Okay. So when we are in stress, it's like having a house divided. Our neurons aren't firing together, they're not behaving together properly, and they're like battling, and they're not operating at their fullest potential, okay? And when we have this, we have to change it changes our perspective. We're not seeing things clearly. We're not operating at our best potential, if that makes sense. And what he also says is what sinks in the brain links in the brain. He said that for years. I've heard that. So the whole point of this is he's teaching people to practice heart and brain coherence to increase the energy in the brain. And to make significant changes in our lives. Now this goes back to habits, which I forgot I wrote this down, so this is good. We have to get beyond the memory of ourselves. So we have to go beyond, like, I have to get over the narrative of saying, I'm addicted to chocolate, there's nothing I can do, I'm powerless. Because then I'm giving my power away. Then I'm just saying, oh, chocolate wins, I'm out, you know? And if we can possibly change the way we think, and then everything, you know, cascade, our thinking, our feeling, and then our doing all changes. It's like a cascade, so it all works together. And what he says is our personality creates our personal reality. So like I just said, it's think, act, and feel. So all those things work together, and that changes our state of being. And then if we keep it the same, we're not going to change. But if we can have a new thought, look at things a different way, then behave differently, then over time, repetitive practice, we can change our entire reality. And that's what I wanted to just share with you guys, because this is all these concepts are the basis of manifesting. And I don't know if anybody here is into manifesting, but my message to you to put all this together is that we create our reality. So whatever we learn about, whatever we focus on, and then whatever we allow our emotions to get involved with, like if we feel good about it or bad about it or stressed or whatever, then it becomes part of our personality. Maybe it's something stressful and our personality is just constantly stressed. He said like a lot of people, I think he said maybe 70% or more are just in flight or fight all the time. And it's hard not to be. And if you don't know you are, then how are you going to change it? So just being aware is the first step. And then if you are, you have to say, okay, what situation is causing this and how can I change? So I don't know if that makes sense, but I hope it does. So what's everybody up to tonight? Anything exciting? That was all I have from the notes, but we had a very good week this week. We were talking about how to be our best selves. So I'm trying to see what else we had in here from that. There was a lot. Awareness makes sense. Thank you. Yeah, if we're not aware, we don't even know we're like that. And then knowing you can change it, you can control this stuff is phenomenal. Now, he's got a formula for changing it, and actually that's next week's topic is change. So, do we like the way we are, or do we want to change? So few people are self-aware. That's so true, Kevin. Yeah, I know. It's very difficult because it's not something our society really values. So, you know, if you start talking like about this kind of stuff with a lot of people, nobody wants to hear it. People are clueless. Some people are clueless. You know, yeah, I don't know. I don't even know. I don't even know what to. That's why I kind of want to start this channel, was to see like, hey, guess what? Like, I'm doing this. Is anybody else interested in this stuff, or is it just me? But I appreciate you being here because it's like, okay, this does resonate with at least a few of you. So thank you so much. Um, yeah, I don't know. And I have a colleague, and we're creating support groups and stuff locally, and we're like, well, what, like it'd be nice to get people together to talk about stuff that means something, or even just to think about things. Maybe not even together. Oblivious is a better word. It is a better word. That's good. You must have busted out the thesaurus for that one. That was great. Yeah, I still have my Roget's thesaurus somewhere around here. It's an actual book. But yeah, but you know what? I commend you for being here because there's a million other things you could be doing, and here we are. We're together. Common sense isn't common. That's true. That's so true. Yeah, no, it's a good thing, and when you do find somebody who gets it, though, that is so awesome because it's rare. So I really appreciate you folks being here because it's just nice to have people who care about being their best self. Like that was the whole point of my channel, was trying to be my best self. Oh, thank you, Cyril. Marie. And this is Pumpkin if you're new. She's 16 and a half years old. I turned 50 on this. Yeah. Oh, I know, right? So 50, yeah. That didn't get to me as much as 40 for some reason. 40 just was like, oh no, I'm middle-aged officially. Like, I don't know. I don't know why I thought 39 was not middle-aged, but for some reason 40 was like, ah. But yeah, 50. Yeah, that's a big one. Well, happy birthday. Yeah, I know what you mean though. Getting older, it's like you realize, at a certain point you realize, oh, I gotta get cracking. I'm getting older. We all are. Hey, Christopher, welcome back. Oh, and Pumpkin, you have greetings. You do. Yeah. Yeah, no, happy birthday. I know it's such a weird thing getting older, but it's better than the alternative, right? Oh, and cheers. We forgot to have a drink together. Just water. So we have our group tomorrow, which is a support group for people whose adult kids don't speak to them. So that's been really going well, and it's so surprising because in general, the people in the group are just so, they just seem so, sweet, and it's really nice to get together and try to share challenges as we go through them. So that's why I like, this is very nice, and also being in person is very nice. So I really appreciate you guys being here. It's so common, yeah. We I might have mentioned it before. We went on the radio to promote it on a local station, and the woman who does the hosting is a judge, and she said she sees it all the time in her courtroom. For her, it's more of a money thing, but we found it could be like the new partner doesn't like the mom or the dad and turns them away, or it can be money, or it can be like a disagreement. There's so many things, and it was just shocking to see how common it is. Yeah, but you know what? All we can do is just be our best self. Oh, thanks, girl dad. Oh my gosh, I checked out your channel. Congratulations on your new property. That looks amazing. It's a lot of work you put in. Holy moly. Yeah, human relationships, they're so complicated. Yeah, one of the topics I had this week was, because I'm so into this, honestly, I found all this Joe Dispenza information is it was effective. Like it got to me. It got me to like a deeper place spiritually. And like after that whole retreat, I'm seeing life very differently now. And I was just concerned because I tend to be like all in on things. So I was like, is this a cult? So I did yesterday's live was was a checklist to make sure it's not a cult. And it's not. None of the stuff was culty, but I just wanted to make sure. So that's another thing. Like as you're going through life, if something's questionable, take a step back. I asked a few friends. I checked in with my family. A couple of my family members were like, yeah, we were a little worried that it could be. So, you know, it's always good to have guardrails, you know, people that are out looking out for you. Let's see. Yeah. Your best is all you can do. That is so true, Kevin. Christopher, there is a scripture in Isaiah that says, I'll return the hearts of the fathers to the children and the children to their fathers. That should be a prayer point to add. Very nice. Yeah, prayer is lovely. And speaking our words, that's so good. Some people have a legitimate reason for being estranged. Absolutely, yeah. So if it's unhealthy, absolutely. Like if it's, there can be really good reasons too. So it's the balance, you know, finding what's what. But next week we're going to talk about change. So we talked a little bit about bad habits tonight, and that's a good, you know, that's a good example. So we can maybe continue along with that example. But you know, what do we want to change about ourselves, or what do we like? I mean, that's something nobody talks about, right? And you know, make a list of stuff you don't have to show anybody, but you could just be like, hey, I'm proud of myself for blah blah blah, you know, whatever. And because you know, I don't do it very often, but I think we should do that more often. Is just take stock in what you're doing, and then you know, be proud of yourself. Give yourself a pat on the back. If there's no one in your life that will do that, and up until recently, I have not had anybody that would, you know, I mean, that would overtly say, I'm proud of you. And I was like, somebody said it to me recently, and I'm like, what? But it was really cool. Yeah. Oh, the addictive personality. Yeah, I think I do too, probably. Yeah. 50 and no kids. Who's going to change my diapers when I get older? T-Rex, that is so funny. I was hanging out with a friend of mine, and I was saying, oh, you know, we want to start another support group. What should we do? And he goes, you should start a support group for people over 50 who have no kids. He goes, we go to parties, and it's different, you know, because people are either talking about their kids or whatever, and I'm like, that's actually a good idea, because I think it's interesting, you know. Oh, yeah, see? Cool. Yes, change does start with self-awareness. So true. Well, I hope that we started that conversation this past week on self-awareness, you know, and kind of looking at our situations and seeing, you know, hey, this is good, this needs some work, whatever. Hey, Aberdeen. Oh, boy, I'm going to say Abderrahim. Okay. Hello there. Yeah. All right. Christopher's down with Kevin. Yeah. Accountability. Oh my gosh. Yes. That is so true. That's key. Yeah. I don't know. I think if we're accountable for ourselves, then that's huge. And it's rare. Like yesterday. Okay. I'm in the grocery store, and it was a long line, and it was just before closing. There were probably maybe 12 of us in line, and only one cashier was open. So one of the guys was opening another thing, and I've been standing there like holding, because I try not to get a cart, so I'm like holding like everything in my arms. And he goes, next person. And the guy who was like the last one in line just like ran up. And I go, excuse me, sir. He said next one in line. And you know, I'm like, I'm standing up for myself, because it just was rude, you know, and he just didn't care. And he had like one, you know, and I said, I'm doing it. So I still have mixed feelings about that, but I think it's the right thing to do. Oh, yeah, I've been doing lives all week. So let me see, hold on. Let me see what you guys are saying. Yeah, hey, Pierre, thanks for the hearts. Christopher, accountability keeps us away from the victim mentality. Absolutely. Yeah, and yeah, I don't know. I don't think it was specifically an accountability video. I think it was just overall checklist on getting to know yourself, but I'm not sure if that was in there this week. I'll check my notes. But I respect people that want to change. Absolutely. Yeah, because you know what? If we were perfect, we would be God, right? Yeah. Yeah, it does take courage. That's so true. That's so true. Yeah, T. Let's see. That's so true. Yeah, that was awesome. All right. Getting sober. Oh my gosh. I can't even imagine. Um, so this colleague of mine he's a psychotherapist. He used to be a um, like sober, I don't know what it's called, but a counselor that dealt with addictions. And he said, I had to stop because everybody kept lying to me. He goes, I just can't do it anymore. He goes, I was working with these people and doing my best, and everybody kept lying to me. And it's, it's the addiction, and so congratulations on that. Yeah, always stand up for yourself. Yeah. Yeah, it was pretty blatant. So I feel pretty okay about it. But thank you. Some of that, people pleasing comes back sometimes, and I'm like, oh, maybe I shouldn't have done it. But no, it was. Thank you. I appreciate that, T. Rex. Yeah, congrats. Yes, that is huge. Congrats to Kevin. Thanks, Christopher. Good point. Lucky Frankie. When a woman says she's never been cheated on, it breaks my heart. I believe they should all know what it feels like. It just isn't fair. I'm not sure what that means, Lucky Frankie. I hope you weren't cheated on. I'm sorry. 21 years. Wow, Kev, that's amazing. Congrats. Yay. Oh, addiction lying is called masking. Maybe. I don't know, but either way, it's just not healthy. And yeah, but I don't know. I'm not in their shoes, so I don't know how it really feels. And whoever said that the cat needs a bath because the furniture's uncovered. Usually, you guys know I usually have this thing covered, but I'm like, oh, it's Saturday night. We're gonna live it up. And plus, these little things come off and they can be washed. So, not that I'll tell her that, but I'm gonna wash them. Abdurrahim. You have a crocodile at home. That's amazing. But you might be kidding. I don't know. Yeah. All right, you folks. Well, listen. Oh, let's see. A crocodile is a pet. I know. Are you talking about a dog that has like big teeth, or are you saying a crocodile, like a serious crocodile? Wow. Abdurrahim, we need to know before I close this out. Oh, we forgot to do our breathing. Oh my God. Okay. Let's end with that. we're gonna sit back in our chairs, close our eyes, and the only one that's allowed to type right now is Abdurrahim if he lets us know about that crocodile. Is it really crocodile? So we're gonna close our eyes, inhale through our nose, and exhale through our mouth. And inhale through our nose. We're gonna slow our breath down. And by the way, I learned so many techniques, but we're not allowed to share them because I don't, like he said, you have to go through a training if you're gonna share any of the stuff. So I'm just doing my regular old breathing with you guys, which is effective. So inhaling and hold it. This is the box breathing from the Marines. And then exhale. Hold it out. And inhale. And hold it. And try to let the exhale be longer than your inhale. Exhale. And hold it out. And inhale. Very good. Holding it. And exhale. Now with this next one, I want you to think about inhaling relaxation and healing. Inhale. And hold it. And exhale. And hold it out. One more set together. Inhale. Hold it. And exhale. Good. Okay. All right. Thank you. Thanks, everybody. I hope you have a great rest of your night or your day. And I really appreciate you being here. And so next week we'll talk about changing. Oh, tomorrow night I have an 8 o'clock live. Very cool. I will close one eye and the other will look at you. Okay, I'm thinking you really have a crocodile. Okay. But we're going to talk about knowing thyself in different religious texts. Okay, so we're going to look at different religious texts and what they each say about knowing themselves, just because I started to research this and it's very similar across the board. And it just gives me hope, because we're all learning these different things independently and they're all kind of saying very similar things. So from myself to yourself, thank you for joining me on this journey, and thanks for the great chat tonight. And thank you so much to our moderator, Imran Hossain. He's an SEO specialist for YouTube. He has gotten my channel, I'm sure you guys found me because of him. So he's great. If you have a YouTube channel, check him out and use him. And thank you, Al. Greetings from Florida. Yeah, thank you so much, everybody. Have a great night. Thanks, Kevin. Thanks, Christopher, and Abdrahim, and T-Rex. And I think I got everybody. Al, Christopher. Have a great night, everybody. I do. I have an official moderator. Thank goodness. Yeah, if you'll notice, chat's been beautiful. So take care. Bye.